Securing Alpha. A secure. We've taken control. Enemy has C. Sticky!
Yo guys, what's going on? It's Killer D here and HS Thug Life, the Mad Diesel tag team, bringing you another dual commentary. So in this one we're going to be talking about old school gaming. So start it off, man.
B secure.
Yeah, I mean, I was, always interested in talking about, the vintage games, back in the day, like you had the PS1, you had the Nintendo 64,
Beast
you
mode, the
know,
OG consoles.
for you, like different genres. And the biggest thing is, the biggest surprise is you enjoyed every single title. Like whether it be a golf game, whether it was like a dance game, you enjoyed every single title no matter what it was. So that was, I believe, like the biggest difference, like in the future games, compared to like what we're playing right now, compared that to the past or previous titles.
Yeah, I mean now every game is basically the same. You have Call of Duty, you have Battlefield. It's basically two games competing in every genre. You have from the sports section, you have, NBA 2K versus Madden, and then you have Call of Duty versus Battlefield, like I said. And racing, you have like Need for Speed and maybe like Forza Sports or something. Back in the days, every game was enjoyable. It doesn't matter how the graphics were, it doesn't matter how the game played. I basically enjoyed every game I played. Anything from Tony Hawk to, I don't even know, Tekken to Cool Borders to Crash Bandicoot. Everything was just beast.
Well, what was your first system? I mean, the first system that you've ever had, and
So, my first system, I think it was an original Nintendo. I had it when I was really young. I barely played it, but when I remember is I used to play like a Super Mario game, and there was this weird game. I forgot what the name. A lot of people like talk about it. It's you like climb vines and stuff. I forgot what it's called. It's like a jungle game, but when I can remember, I think the PS1 is where I actually started, and basically the Game Boy. So what about you?
yeah, I started with the PS1, and what they had during the time that I bought it, they actually gave like a free demo of like all different games. Like you had Cool Borders, you
I love those demos.
had a Hot Shots Golf, like you have all these different games, and the biggest thing is that I didn't want any other game. I played that demo, 1 month, 2 months running without even complaining about okay, the games are getting repetitive, because all of them were enjoyable in their own retrospect, and I had nothing to complain about.
Yeah, same here. I mean, back in the days, you had every game was so much fun. I mean, even without a memory card. I remember I didn't have a memory card for a while either. Like you were saying before, you didn't have one either. So, I mean, it's just going back to the game and just playing it over and over again. It didn't get boring to me or to anyone that I knew. And when friends came over, we played the same stuff all the time. So, it didn't get repetitive.
I mean,
So,
I think that it would kind of annoy you that you don't really have a memory card. You have to go out and purchase one, in order to really save your game. But
yeah,
having Spyro the Dragon, and I would complete so many missions.
yeah.
I'd play for 4 or 5 hours straight. In one day, I would get up to like a certain level, and I would want to save it, but I didn't have a memory card during the time, so it pretty much like ruined the whole thing. But I didn't mind going back to the game and playing it all over again. Like I enjoyed the repetitiveness of the game itself, and I think that's another major difference of the games that were vintage games compared to like the newer games.
Yeah, and now I don't think anybody even plays single player games anymore. It's all about the multiplayer, just, communicating with people, which is cool. I mean, it's a step up. It's more fun. It's enjoyable. You meet a lot of new people. It's fun to compete. But, nothing beats the old school days when you just had a controller, a console in front of you, a memory card, and you just played single player with some friends that came over or just by yourself. And that wouldn't get boring, but, I mean, nowadays, if I don't play multiplayer, the game's basically boring.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but because every other game that's coming out right now is made around the multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's like they want players to be engaged. They want players to be interested within the game, and to maintain that interest, obviously they want people to interact with one another while they're playing a game.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get like haters and like people hating on your game. It kind of pisses you off in a way. But like what can you do? There's always going to be haters out there.
Yeah, I guess it's cool that they have the multiplayer aspect because without multiplayer, they wouldn't have, YouTube. YouTube wouldn't be big on the whole gaming scene. But I still miss the old school days, man. That's how we got into gaming with PS1, Nintendo 64, those consoles. Those are like the most amazing consoles back in the days. Everybody had one. You know, you would go to your friend's house, they would either have a PS1 or Nintendo 64 or any game console, and you would just play any game. You wouldn't mind what game they had. And back in the days, everybody played the same like games, Mario and Tony Hawk, Spyro, Crash Bandicoot. There's a whole bunch of games. I can go on forever. And what Legend of Zelda, like everybody had the same games. So
because everyone pretty much had the same interests. As you said before, you didn't care what you played because you knew that it would be enjoyable. At the end of the day, you would still get a little bit of excitement out of it. You'll still enjoy it. And I think that's pretty much like the reason that you choose to be that way. Because nowadays, not every game is enjoyable. Like you may go and pick up a title from GameStop, and it may be a game that's unheard of, and you may come home and try it, and you may hate it, and you're just gonna return it. Now, if you pick exclusive games such as like Black Ops 1, Call of Duty, Battlefield, obviously the game's a little more engaging, and obviously the other companies are losing out and giving up because most people pretty much rely on these multiplayer games such as Call of Duty, and pretty much all the money is really going to them.
Yeah, exactly. Back in the days, they had almost every game that came out was like one of the greatest hits. Like everybody enjoyed it. Nowadays, maybe like 2 or 3 games a year that come out are like the top seller games. But back in the days, everybody used to buy every game. So like back in the days, it was a lot better because you had a lot more variety of games, unlike now where you just have Call of Duty, maybe a sports game, a racing game, and that's it. They're all major titles. They're not, no underground names like Cool Borders or, I don't know, X Legit Beast Golf or something. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess the other thing is that the genres are also very different with gaming. Like, make games a little more realistic. When back in the day, you pretty much enjoyed games that were, that had pretty crappy graphics. I mean, I tried out on my PS3, I tried out WWF Warzone. I could play that for hours. Like, I wanted to go through the whole championship, mission with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, and that's something that I would really enjoy doing, even though I wouldn't be able to save it, and I would be up to the last point. I wouldn't mind going back and playing it all over again.
Yeah, well, the good thing about PS3 is they have like the internal memory cards now. Instead of going out and buying one, you can just, play it on your PS3. I have some PS1 games as well. I think I have some Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, so I might post them up. I might play some because, those are really fun games to play. And when you're not feeling well, you don't want to play Call of Duty, you don't want to try hard, just go to those games. You don't have to try hard on there unless you want to, beat Spyro real quick or something.
Yeah, I mean, you could always go back whenever you're having a bad day. I don't know. Like, I would rather, spend my night, when I'm a little stressed out, playing like Mario or
come home from school, popping that old school disc.
Yeah, exactly. Go and play Spyro the Dragon. Have fun with it. Try out different things. You don't want to stick to just one genre and just leave it to that one thing that's enjoyable for you. You want to try out a whole bunch of things. Those games that were back in the day are not outdated. Honestly speaking, they actually make you feel a lot better when you actually play them and you engage with them because there's nothing like vintage games. There's nothing like it. Not the games right now, not the games that are going to come out in the future. There's no comparison.
Yeah, man. Nothing can beat the old school games. You could talk as much smack as you want about them, but everybody enjoyed them. And for people who didn't grow up during that time, you guys missed out a lot because those are the games that, like, basically carved the foundation for the games that we have now, which is, like, Call of Duty and, the major titles you hear now. But anyways, guys, we're running out of time, so we're going to make a second part to this talking about future gaming. And we wanted to do a comparison between retro gaming, vintage gaming against new future and new school gaming. So let us know in the comment section below what was your favorite old school game. And take us out, man.
And what system you owned, pretty much. Like what was your first system and what were your experiences with it? And would you ever go back to playing that system all over again?
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we're out. Peace.
minutes.